Forza Horizon 6. Why it has to impress. Yo, what's up? It's your boy Carspec and welcome to this video. And today we're going to be talking about Forza Horizon 6, as this game is right around the corner. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure this game is going to come out within the next couple of years, maybe 2025 or 2026. Doesn't matter. All we know is that it is coming, as Horizon 5 seems to be wrapping up in terms of its updates and such, and giving out not substantial updates in the past recent months, especially with the addition of Horizon Backstage coming back from Horizon 4, which in that game was essentially a call off to send off to the games in terms of updates and all that kind of stuff in this. So as we know, Horizon 6 is coming up. I need to discuss on why it's so important and why it needs to be a great game overall and impress people. This game means so much to me. This franchise, Forza in general, means so much to me. I want this game to succeed. I want this game to do massively well, and I feel like as though the Forza Horizon series have been in a very stale state for these past recent years, and I feel like Horizon 6 needs to do something different. And here are my reasons as to why Horizon 6 has to impress. Reason number one being that the franchise have been stale since the last two games. Now, since Horizon 3, I feel like these games felt quite the same. Horizon 4 kind of felt the same as Horizon 3, just in a different setting, and that's about it really. And same could be said about Horizon 5, it was just the only difference being a different setting. And you can't really say the same about the first two games in any way, bro, because Horizon 1 and 2 felt completely different from each other. I talk about this all the time, and we need to have something that can change with Horizon 6. It needs to feel different, not completely different, obviously, not to lose its whole identity. That's not what I'm saying, but a different vibe will be amazing. Like how Horizon 1 and 2 felt different from each other. That's what I want to see for Horizon 6. It feel different from Horizon 5, 4, and 3. Reason number two is that other competitors are catching up. Going for a similar forum, that is. So the crew and test drive. Now I know the test drive is it's a bit bumpy right now with unlimited solid ground, but the crew Motorfest is right there, and that game is really good. And there's some competition coming up these days, or the past 2 years, and Playground Games gotta look around and see what's going on so that they can actually lock in and work on this game, right? You don't want these other competitors being a lot better than Horizon 6. So that's what I'm trying to say with that. And reason number three is they have to redeem themselves and heal the series' reputation after the terrible reception of Forza Motorsport. Forza Motorsport's launch and whole reception in general through the community, to every player that played the game, is overall just so bad, overall just so negative, for a good reason too. The game didn't meet its mark in any way, shape, or form, and kind of just ruined the reputation of the entire series, not just Motorsport side but also the Horizon side. People are getting worried that Horizon 6 isn't going to be very good because of how Motorsport 1, or not Motorsport 1, but how Motorsport turned out, and that obviously Horizon 6 is going to go off of the engine based on Motorsport, which was a new engine, and people are getting a bit worried about that. How is it going to turn out? And even though Turn 10 isn't working on Horizon. It's a different company. It's just, it's Play on Games. People are still worried about that. People still have that behind their heads as to that whole thing, thinking that it's not going to be good to see. And so those are my reasons, man. Like, Horizon 6 is really important to get done right, and if it's not done right, then I don't know where the series can go on from there. But I'm gonna explain what they can do to make it a good game, to have it be done right. And this is kind of my wish list / not wish list in a way. Like, this is what I want from the game, but this is also how the game could feel different from the other games and actually have purpose and actually meaning, other than just you cruising and giving cars and all the kind of stuff that we see in these recent games. So let's talk about it, right? So let's first talk about the location and map. Now, this is a really important thing to get done right, and honestly, I don't care what location it is. It could be Japan, it could be Germany, it could be Spain, it could be anywhere around the world. As long as it's a diverse location, it needs to be diverse. We need a map like Horizon 3. In Horizon 3, we had the rainforest, we had the desert, we had a really good city, we had some, shorelines, and this nice town area, all these kind of stuff within one map. And that's what I mean about that. The diverse location that has all these kind of stuff going around it. Not in the sense of how Horizon 5 did it, where most of the map there was a lot of different things, like obviously the jungle and then the desert and then these grassland areas, but not in that kind of sense, because it was too dry. And I feel like they can go in a better route this time around instead of how they done it with Horizon 5, and prioritize what I mean by diverse location, prioritize more on the location itself more than making it bigger than what we had previously. For me, quality is so much more important than quantity. I don't care how big the map is. I just want a good location to drive around in. That's the thing that I'm gonna do the most in the game. Drive around, cruise around, race around in, just enjoy myself, honestly. So a diverse location is really important, as well as the fact that we need more density. So in terms of traffic and environment, just more density. Obviously, the environment isn't really like a concerning thing, because Play on Games is really good with that. They never really had a problem with that. But with the traffic though, there needs to be more of them. There's more traffic, especially in the city, when when people are gonna be in the most, and when it's supposed to be the most busy, should have a lot of traffic. With Horizon 5, there was a massive problem with the density of the traffic, especially in Guanajuato, which was the city in that game. For some reason, there's just nobody there. It's like a ghost town. I don't understand. Like, if you're making a city, you gotta have some traffic in there, man, for it to feel like a city, for it to feel lively. That's what we need throughout the entire map as well, not just a city, man. That's what I want, as well as a bigger city. Now I'm not asking for a city that is like New York and the Crew, or the recent game Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown that had most of the map being Hong Kong Island City. I'm not asking for that. I'm not asking for a big city that's surrounded by grasslands and off-road areas is coastal. No, just a slight bigger city than what we see recently, like Bigger than Guanajuato, definitely, because Guanajuato was kind of small, as well as bigger than Carson from Horizon 1, but we're kind of past that now. We're kind of past in that direction where the map feels a lot bigger and stuff like that, so we don't have to worry about that. But I wanted just a bigger city and more density, and just, a good city in general. And honestly, the map needs to also have more of the festival vibe. I don't want it to be just driving around in what feels like this Forza open world and not a Horizon game. I want to feel like I'm in a Horizon game. Horizon 1 and 2 did that beautifully, as well as Horizon 3. But Horizon 4 and 5 don't really feel the same way, in my opinion. They felt as if I was driving in, it was just a Forza open world and not a Horizon. Just, that's what I want in terms of the location and map overall. For soundtrack and characters, now, all of these things, the location, map, and soundtrack and characters, they all combine with one another. What I mean by that is, when you're making the soundtrack and characters, which is usually what you do after the location and map, usually the map is the first thing you do within making a game, you have to reference that setting of the map for the soundtrack and characters as well. You gotta have a connection with all of these things so that they feel intertwined with one another. You know what I'm saying? Horizon 1, 2, and 3 did this perfectly. They all feel distinctive, in terms of their vibe and what they're trying to approach with that whole thing. Horizon 1 was mad festival vibe. Horizon 2 was this luxurious, chill type of vibe going on. Horizon 3 is that summer, have fun type of vibe there. But then you go Horizon 4, the soundtrack isn't really that good, to be honest, and the characters aren't really that good, to be honest. You don't really have much screen time either. So that whole thing is kind of messy a little bit, as well as the map not as good as the previous games. And in Horizon 5, the soundtrack and characters are just flat, and the map also being flat. Get what I'm saying here? They all intertwine with one another, and you gotta get them all right. So with the soundtrack, you gotta have a good selection of songs, man. Throughout all of the radio stations have to have good songs, man. Like I'm tired of these, these songs that are in these recent games, especially Horizon 5. I like all the soundtracks within most of the games. Horizon 1 to 4, I like most of the radio stations, but Horizon 5, I just can't listen to any of the radio stations because they're just not really good. And for the characters just need to have more significant roles, and not really significant roles, but just have more screen time, just more screen time, to be honest, because usually we only get one cutscene within the first bit of the game when we're just in, the intro, and that's it. That's all we get, and nothing more other than that. Maybe a couple, from Horizon stories or whatever. Those are Horizon stories. Obviously, you're gonna get cutscenes within those, and then maybe the barn find stuff, but you get obviously cutscenes from those. So I just want cutscenes in general, more cutscenes in general. Give the characters more to do. That's all I'm asking for that. And now we get into the gameplay and progression. Now, this needs to have a completely different vibe to it. This needs to have a different overhaul completely, bro. I'm tired of what we're getting with these recent games, of how they're dealing with these, how they're dealing with the progression and gameplay in general. And I'm not gonna specifically get into what they can do and what I want, but how both sides of the player base will be happy, both the casual side and both the the hardcore fan base will both be happy. So what I'm essentially saying here, with the gameplay and progression, just give us a reason to progress through the game. That's it. Just give us a reason to, because most of the time you're progressing through the game, you're about to finish the game, or you're not even close to finishing the game, you already got fast cars already. So you don't even need to finish the game, because you already got all of these cars. So you don't need to do anything. You be level 20, you have a Koenigsegg, Lamborghini, Ferrari, all of these cars, and there's no need to finish the game at all. So give us a reason to progress through the game. So there's a lot of aspects of how you can finish or do this, but how I want to see it is just give us less frequent wheel spins. The wheel spins need to kind of stay on the back burner a little bit. They should be a lot less frequent than what we're getting with these recent games, especially the super wheel spins. Like, have us work for these wheel spins. That's what I'm asking for. And as well as less gifting overall. With new playground games gifting cars to people, as well as offering cars that you get for playing for the previous games. Get rid of all of those. You don't need them. Give every now and then, but not all the time, because we always get these cars every time. From all other aspects of the game, from wheel spins, from leveling up to get these wheel spins, from festival playlists. We get all these cars all the time, man. We don't need to get gifted from y'all. As well as the gifting in general, what players can do and they give other players. I feel like there needs to be a level limit for the gifting. Instead of people gifting whatever they want to whoever they want, the new players, returning players, whoever, it should be a level limit. You should be, get up to level 50 or 40 to gift or to receive gifts. That's how I see it, so that you can actually progress through the game and there's actual meaning to progressing through the game, as well as having a proper end goal to prepare for. So a final race. With these past two since Horizon 3, we haven't gotten a final race. I don't think anyone realized that. We haven't gotten that whole thing. We haven't got that whole aspect of the game since Horizon 2 or Horizon 3. Horizon 2 was the last game where we got a final race. Horizon 3, we kind of gotten that, but it was a showcase event, and showcase events are cheap. They're scripted. We know this. It's gonna be easy to win. It's harder to lose than to win with showcase events. So that wouldn't really count. And then Horizon 4 was kind of the same way. You didn't even need to do anything. You could just level up and you go into the Horizon roster. Horizon 5 is the same thing. You get enough accolades to get in the Hall of Fame. That's it. Nothing else more to it. There needs to be a final race for you to complete, or to win, so that you actually finish the game, right? There's got to be depth to it. Now, I'm not asking for something like Need for Speed, where they have all these different things that you have to do, or these different limitations that you have to do in order to progress through the game. I'm not asking for that. I'm just asking for proper end goal. There's also extra stuff that I want to see, like championships. I love them to return and have more meaning to it, more than what Horizon 3 brought to the table, in the sense that, obviously you have your already existing singular events, but the championships could come into play in terms of being the final things you have to do in order to move on to the next section of the game. Get what I'm saying? Like, let's say you have one festival that is about to level up, or something like that. You do one singular race or event or PR stunt, whatever, and you level up the festival. or before you have to level up the festival or whatever, you have to do a championship for you to progress. Boom. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. And just have extra side challenges, events to do other than just, races. So like bucket lists can return. I love for them to return. I miss bucket lists a lot. Those little events, I miss those a lot. And just challenges with PR stunts for rewards. Like more than just getting 3 stars for the PR stunts. Like I feel like there needs to be more to it than that. And not to the extent Horizon 5 did it with the accolades. Like specific main challenges that are given to you to get extra rewards, like more credits and more maybe like a ticket for a car or something like that. Yeah, that's what I'm asking for. And also give us special cards or rewards after major events we do. So like let's say we finish a championship and win first place, you get a special car that gets us excited and we feel actually rewarded for that car because we earned it. You know what I'm saying? I want to earn these cars. I want to feel good when I get these cars instead of just being gifted them whenever. Get what I'm saying with that? More. I want to just overall the gameplay and progression. It just needs to be a mix between Horizon 2 and 3. Horizon, have something for us to push, to beat the game. What Horizon 2 was doing it with you doing all these championships to get the Horizon finale, and have the sandbox that Horizon 3 had, where you could it wasn't so limited and you could do whatever you wanted in order to progress, but you still had that so that both fan bases, or not fan bases, but player bases will be happy. The casual side and the hardcore side will both be happy with this whole system, because I think Horizon 3 was the best system we had in terms of both sides being happy, with the casual side and with the hardcore side. You don't want to lose any side for anything, in my opinion. I feel like every side should be happy with something, and that's what I would do with the gameplay and progression. Now, for online and extra features, this is quite simple, really. You just gotta add private lobbies, man. I don't know when was the last time we got private lobbies. I think it was Horizon 3 when we last seen private lobbies. So that would be much appreciated. More game modes in general would be nice. I would just see more game modes. Ranked playlists, that should come back from Horizon 4. I don't know why they got removed from Horizon 5. Obviously there's this reason with the game being casual and not being very competitive, but come on, man, come on. People want to compete, and people like to compete and race and drive their meta cars and just race and compete, man. And plus you get more rewards out of these things, and I feel like it feels very rewarding doing these ranked playlists. So they should definitely bring those back, throughout racing, and the play on games, and even the hide and seek, and maybe the other modes you add in. That would be amazing. And also they should change the layout and formula of the festival playlist. I feel like they need to change that up a little bit. Definitely make it less FOMO, which is fear of missing out. With these new cars that are getting added, and you're not being able to get it because only staying with the weekend rotates. They should definitely add less of that, as well as the returning cars, way less returning cars. Just specifically new cars. I feel like all returning cars should be in the auto show day one. If not day one, add them within the updates into the auto show and not the festival playlist. Only new cars should be in the festival playlist. Also feel like there should be more time to get these cars within the festival playlist, because I feel like 1 week is not really a long time, even though we're going through all these things within a month. But obviously they could change up the formula a little bit, have us do different events, and have less cars, since if there's only going to be new cars, they're not going to obviously have 4 cars every month. So they could just bump that down to 2, and have you have 2 weeks instead of 1 week to finish up those, to get those cars, to get those, to get the amount of points to get these cars, and all so on and so forth. And to remove it even less FOMO with these new cars, they can add them into the auto show maybe every like 4 months, 3 months, so that people don't always have to do them, and we'll be excited for the cars to come into the auto show eventually, instead of them just kind of still being locked behind the backstage, which you still have to kind of grind for the backstage passes so you can get those cars. Instead of just remove that whole backstage thing completely and just add them into the auto show after a couple of months, so they'll have way less FOMO than we're having right now with Horizon 5. So that's ultimately what I want to see with Horizon 6. Like I said in the beginning, this is a very, very important game to get done right. It must get done right, in my opinion, or else this series in general is in massive danger. But anyways, that's it, guys. I'll see you guys later. Like I said, Need for Speed Unbound Volume 9 is dropping next month. I'll catch you guys with those videos, dropping gameplay videos, or not gameplay videos, but kind of gameplay videos with obviously the builds, and I don't know, but I'll see you, man. Let's go.